Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have in the studio with us today our friends from Nonprofit Solutions. Joining us is the board chair, Holly Baughman. How you doing, Holly?
I'm doing dandy.
Good. And we'll get your executive director probably in the second half of the show. And always a great day when my colleague Neville Villamoria is in the house. Neville is Senior VP, charge of pretty much everything at Mission Fed Credit Union. And
stop it, Drew.
Okay. No, you said you want me to talk more about that. And Mission Fed, of course, is the sponsor of Spotlight on the Community Shows, which we're grateful. How you doing, Neville?
I'm doing great, thanks. Happy New Year, everybody.
Absolutely. You had a good holiday?
I had a great holiday with kids in town, the whole shebang. The empty nesters was full again, so that was fun.
Very good. How about you, Holly?
I had my mother-in-law in town.
Good. I'm assuming that's good?
Yes, she stayed her requisite 5 days, which is perfect.
Right.
And we had a delightful time.
Right. No, that sounds terrific. Well, we're getting Christiana set up here in the studio. Holly, maybe you can just give a little bit of a background on the mission of Nonprofit Solutions.
Oh, that's great. We actually, as a board, have been reframing this mission as part of our regrowth and rebirth efforts at Nonprofit Solutions. And I am pleased to share with you that our mission is to cultivate nonprofit organizations through connection, innovation, and inspiration. Oh, and investment in the whole person.
Well, inspiration also.
But I am inspired by
it. I think that's great. How you doing, Christiana?
I'm great. Thank you so much.
Now, pronounce your last name.
Tasto.
See, that's what I thought it was. Okay. And Neville thought it was too, as did your board chair. So that's very good. How long have you been executive director?
It'll be 2 years in February.
Yeah. You want to move your mic up right up. There you go. 2 years in February. Okay. Where were you before?
I was at Nonprofit Solutions as well.
Okay, very good. Yeah. So they just moved you right up. How long's the organization been in business?
Well, in San Diego, we've been operating since 1984.
Okay, very, very good. And your main focus is on training and development? Is it on leadership? Is it in fundraising? All of the above?
I would say our focus is not in fundraising, but we train fundraisers. We train the individual. We support the whole person. So it's really about that professional development aspect so that organizations can retain those employees and have the best employees sitting around their tables or out in the community doing the good work. Right.
As always, I toss it over to my colleague, Neville. Any questions? Any thoughts?
I know of your work and have connected with you guys for many years. I'm curious about when you think about the scattergram of the nonprofit sector in San Diego, where you think your point of opportunity is and how you're trying to make an impact. Because clearly standing up-leveling, upskilling that whole sector in terms of employment, leadership, skillages, if that's a word. But
it is now.
It is now.
Yeah, well, there you go. Skillages it is for 200, Vanna. So where would you, if somebody's entering the nonprofit space in San Diego and going, okay, so what does Nonprofit Solutions do? How could I better answer that in the future?
Do you want to answer this?
Sure.
Go for it.
I would say that we actually can help everyone at every level within the sector. What we are doing is primarily focusing on leadership, but leadership with the DEI lens. So we're trying to make sure that we are providing equitable opportunities for folks so that everyone at every level gets the same type of training so that they all can excel and can grow and can be eligible for these other positions that come up down the road, as where we're moving away from more of having a university degree and things like that. We are here to kind of fill that gap as well. We do offer vast programs for boards, for C-suite as well. So it's definitely not just those that are coming up into it, but that's kind of where our focus is for our outreach that we're working on this year.
Right. Now, I'm sorry, go ahead, Neville.
Just to follow up, you recently did some strategic planning or some mission work or something, as I recall. So what was the biggest epiphany or aha or game change or pivot? Or what came out of that landed really well that, again, we'd like to let people know about?
I would say being more nimble and being able to go out into the community. I mean, to be able to take our Leadership Academy on the road is a huge win for us, because I don't think that a lot of people are doing that in this space. And so to be able to support organizations in that effort is exciting.
Yeah, now, when you say you take it on the road, I mean, it's basically, is it you two on the road? Is it just you? Is it you and your staff? How big is the staff?
They don't take me on the road.
Okay, that's right. They just have you watch all the fiduciary stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Actually, our staff is rather lean, I would say. We're a tiny but mighty squad, if you will, but our faculty is pretty magnanimous. We are, I believe, 50 different faculty members where we're at right now. We have volunteer faculty members. We have on-staff faculty members. We do say faculty, but some of them are faculty at other institutions as well, but they are our facilitators. So we are really facilitating the learning in this aspect. So when we go out there, no, it's not just myself or associate executive director. We have the beauty of having it being so nimble and being hybrid is that some of our facilitators can be from other areas as well. So we actually have a facilitator that is in
Canada, right?
In Canada, yeah. One's in Canada, one's in Nambia, another was in Puerto Rico. So we're able to kind of get different experiences as well and to bring different perspectives.
Right. We are chatting with our friends from Nonprofit Solutions. Joining us is Christiana Tasto. She is the executive director of the organization, joined by her board chair, Holly Baughman. I'm joined by my colleague, Neville Villamoria of Mission Fed Credit Union, as you're listening to another edition of Spotlight on the Community, sponsored by Mission Fed, which has been bringing great things to San Diegans for more than 60 years. You know, what would you say, I'll start with you on this one, and Christiana, and then sort of move it over to Holly. You folks have been in this space for a while. What is the biggest change that nonprofit leaders or nonprofit staff or nonprofit boards need to know in the 21st century, or now into our 23rd year in the 21st century, that they might not have had to have that skill set before?
Well, I think a lot of folks come from the mindset of this is how you are professional, this is how you do it, this is how you succeed. And that has changed significantly in the way that we look at that. That is with the inclusion equity lens, as well as how are we there to serve, and how are we there to be authentic, and how are we there to be a place that people feel that they belong. Over and over, you hear that the right people didn't apply, we just didn't get enough diversity applying, and the reality is that you need to be providing an environmental workspace, a work culture where folks want to be there, and that's really what we're working towards as well, as just moving organizations along that pendulum to get them more ready. I think that the way we used to do business isn't the same anymore. Obviously, with COVID, that impacted many different ways, but also just we're actually able to address racism now, and that is part of your job as a leader. It's not just, we want to have some people from different backgrounds. That's not what we're doing anymore, and that's really where we need to focus as a whole and be aware of. And folks kind of feel afraid that they're going to say something wrong, and we really want to encourage them not to necessarily worry about saying something wrong. It's get educated, and that's what we're here to do. Right,
exactly. Holly, talk about how important it is. It's something that's near and dear to Neville and my hearts, and we talk about it all the time on the show, have for many, many years, is collaboration. I mean, if you're working in a silo, you'll die in a silo, basically. How much do you emphasize that, Holly, when doing your training?
I focus a lot when I'm doing my personal training, on collaboration. I feel, my background really is in the resource development departments, is where my sweet spot is. But I've always been where you have to work with every department in an organization, because everyone at the end of the day is supporting your mission. And so it's really important to not just the fundraising staff understand what the work is that you're doing, but also your finance staff, because you're all at the end of the day working and talking with other folks. And part of the collaborative efforts I like to see is like the diversity, for example, of board members and the perspectives that they bring to the table. Also, thinking outside the box when you're partnering with organizations. That's something that Christiana and I talk a lot about. When you look at organizations and what they're funding, and you say, well, they don't fund training, and they don't fund leadership. Well, yes, they do. They just don't know they do, because they're supporting these organizations, and they want these organizations to be successful. And in order to get there, they need to work with organizations like us.
Yeah, that makes all the sense. We come back from break. I want to, sort of continue on that conversation. I want to talk about IDEA and what that is all about. I know Neville's got a bunch of questions swirling around in his head, as he always does. And then we always save some time at the second half of the interview. What can our listeners do to support your efforts? Whether that's volunteer, whether it's make recommendations, whatever you'd like, be thinking about that. When we return, with our friends from Nonprofit Solutions, Christiana Tasto, the Executive Director, Holly Baughman, the Chair of the Board. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things in San Diego for more than 60 years. We'll be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union in these very cool Mission Fed studio in Scripps Ranch. And Mission Fed has been doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. Right before break, we were chatting about collaboration, but I wanted to dig a little deeper into IDEA. What is IDEA? And I'll let you start on that, Holly, and you can shift it over to Christiana if you'd like.
Absolutely. As you heard earlier, Christiana talking a lot about inclusion. IDEA really is about inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. And she talked a little bit about, when employers or people say, we didn't have the right people joining or applying, it's about being accessible so that people want to come and join and be with you. And so, when you talk about diversity, inclusion, equity, and accessibility, it's really an important component to make sure that you are open and welcoming.
Right, exactly. Want to add to that, Christiana, at all?
Yeah, I think that the key is the accessibility is probably the different nuanced word that is not in your typical JEDI, DEI, DEIB. And what that is providing an entryway. And you want to provide a way that people can get, quote unquote, in the building. Accessibility sometimes looks like how do we get actually wheelchairs in the building and things like that? And we're not talking necessarily like that. That is part of it. But how do you get people to know that you're hiring? How do you get the right people to apply? The people that you're trying to attract, you need to be able to give them an entryway and an opportunity to get in the door.
Right. One of the things that always interests me since I came from the media field, as some of you folks know, and, it sort of ties a little bit into a question I'll have Neville ask as well. Neville and I have sat on a bunch of panels giving advice to how nonprofits can engage with not only companies like Mission Fed, but the media itself. But I'll start with the media question on this. Do you, during your workshops and training, let them know how to deal with the media? I'll start with you on that, Christiana.
That is a great question, and
if not for a nominal fee, Neville and I would be more than happy to do this. Now, the reason why I bring that up is that a lot of people don't look at the media as a great way to get their word out, and it can be intimidating. I worked for the Union Tribune for many, many different years, and but it wasn't as intimidating as people think. And when you get that word out with mass media, okay, and we know it's all fragmented these days, but that still has a pretty big oomph. Whether it's the newspaper or it's KPBS or social media, you can really help certainly in that development area quite a bit. Neville, you want to address that?
No, I think it's a really excellent question. Again, from a brand standpoint, branding is storytelling, right? You need a good story and a good storyteller. Stories are data with emotion. So we're living in a data-driven world, but if you can anchor a story around that and connect it to a human-centered part of it, then that gets appeal and interest. Some say that attention is the currency of the economy if you're trying to get through the clutter. So for people that want to be in the nonprofit space, they want to up-level and upscale. They want to have a idea, orientation, or framework. I think building and crafting stories around that and using the media as an anchor can be a really powerful lever for you guys. So, yeah, in the spirit of collaboration, the earlier part of the conversation, sometimes even in nature, three-legged stools are much stronger than two. So say Mission Fed and Nonprofit Solutions are partnering. The question we can ask is, who else could we add to really bolster and quite literally stand up that kind of initiative? And so that's where the media might be a really useful tool.
Yeah. Also, talk about some of your fun success stories. I know you work with Barrio Logan, College Institute. Talk about that.
Yeah. So Barrio Logan College Institute is a great organization. It's a rather new partnership for us in the last, I guess, a little over a year now. And what we've been doing there is doing workshops for their staff. We do these custom workshops that we do basically what we offer. But the unique thing with Barrio Logan College Institute is that they run after school programs. So their time that their staff work are not necessarily the times that we offer our regular workshops. So we have been doing these custom ones for them. Well, what is the beauty of that is that not only do the staff get it, then they are teaching their youth. And then the next iteration is that they would like to go further on is teaching their families. So what we're doing is actually bringing this, and Matthew, who we work with there, has said that this is a legacy, that impact that we're providing, and that's really exciting to me to be able to not just make an impact on those employees and the employee pool, but also their constituents and their families.
Right. I also see that you have some great work at the Humane Society. Again, we're chatting with our friends from Nonprofit Solutions, Christiana Tasto. She is the executive director, joined by her board chair, Holly Baughman. I'm Drew Schlosberg, with my colleague, Neville Billamoria, senior VP at Mission Fed Credit Union. So it's funny, I was just on the phone with our good friend, Gary Weitzman, who is the CEO of the Humane Society, frequent guest on our Spotlight show. Those guys kill it. They do a great job. Talk about your work with them, Holly.
Oh, I don't get to work with them directly, although I did just go to their anniversary party, which was delightful, and found out that Gary and I are practically neighbors in Point Loma. So I knew he was very familiar looking to me when I met him in person. But they are our first Mobile Leadership Academy. Is that correct?
Right. So the way that kind of came to be was because the way that we want intentional professional development to be adopted by every organization. Of course, that's why we're here. They actually do it at the Humane Society, and we're considered a benefit in their benefits and compensation package. What they offer their employees is that they get to participate in their professional development with us. So we thought, what a natural way to start this. Let's do it with them. They're in our same district, so we were able to get some funding through the county for that, and we are really excited to kind of pave the way together. What it means by being this mobile leadership academy is it's absolutely hybrid. So it will be in person or in the conference room or in the living room, wherever people are. We're going to make it accessible to everyone so that everyone can be part of it.
Yeah, they do just a phenomenal job. Neville, have you done any work with the Humane Society?
We've done work with both those institutions, Barry College Logan as well as the Humane Society, so absolutely. And I really like the way you're articulating the differences. One is a legacy opportunity that you're going to be passing this on for generations, something that nonprofits can focus on is the long game, right? Whereas for-profits always focused on quarterly shareholder reports or driving the bottom line on a very short time horizon. And so you're going to leave a trail that's going to last long after we're all probably gone. So that's a cool, sustainable one. And then obviously with the mobile, that's behaving into your new model of meet people where they're at. It's about skills, not degrees. So I think these are really great optics and illustrative examples to keep spreading the love and telling the story. So I just want to say that's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. Christiana, how do people get a hold of you?
My email would be the best.
Okay.
It's CTASTO at npsolutions.org.
Right, or just go to the website if they want to learn about all the things.
All the things that we do.
And so if there's a nonprofit that's listening to this, and I know many do, that, hey, we need some help, some leadership and some development and just some ideas, that certainly we're going to recommend them call you folks. I'll start with you on this one, Holly, and then I'll pivot over to Christiana. What can our listeners do to support your efforts?
They can become members. We are a membership organization.
Okay.
Start taking classes, start growing. That's how I really grew my nonprofit career, was literally taking classes with Nonprofit Solutions way back in the day. Invest in us. Giving Tuesday is a great opportunity, but you can give every Tuesday in the year. So when the need hits you, just invest in the great work that we're doing. And I would say volunteer. I personally volunteer my time as a facilitator for one of the workshops, and it is very fulfilling to be able to see the executives that are doing the work and be able to help them succeed. And then lastly, I would say if you're looking for talent, post on nonprofit on NP Works. That is our nonprofit job board, and we are very proud of it.
That was good. Christiana, how do we support you?
I would love to echo the volunteering. I think that just brings a wealth of experience, collaboration, relationships that we couldn't even imagine have come from someone just, hey, I'd like to teach one of those workshops. And then it turns out to be we're partners for years. I'd like to take that a little bit further, is that we now have committees that are active working committees.
Okay.
And I'd love to get some members of the community partaking in that. We have the Technology and Innovation Committee, which, as you can imagine, is pretty busy with the Mobile Leadership Academy. We also have our Marketing and Engagement Committee, which is really just where we're trying to get clear who we are and getting that out to people so that people know who we are.
Maybe we need a media.
I think we do need a media person, perhaps.
Someone
on
sitting around that
might
table.
be helpful.
Someone at this table, I'm not sure who that would be.
I don't know how we find anyone, but it's possible.
That's right. Neville and I are going, they absolutely can't be talking about us. What's the website, Christiana, how we can get a hold of you?
npsolutions.org.
That's terrific. Neville, any final comments?
I just want to thank you for all the work you guys do. I love your fresh approach to how to meet the moment. We can't be. I know we call ourselves America's finest city. I think we should be America's kindest and most purposeful area. I know you and I have had some healthy, robust debates about is nonprofit the way to define ourselves. But for the time being, since that's how people identify, let's meet them where they're at. wow, we help everybody understand they can live a purposeful life and find meaning and purpose in their work and make a difference in their society and in the community. So thank you for the good work you guys do. And I hope people take you up on those offers to get engaged.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been, again, chatting with Christiana Tasto. She is the Executive Director of Nonprofit Solutions, joined by her board chair, Holly Baughman. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and joined by my colleague, Neville Billamori, as you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing phenomenal things for San Diegans for more than 60 years.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.